I'm going to say something that is really uncomfortable. So before you react, please take a minute to regulate your nervous system. Purity culture encourages pedophilia. Some of the standards of purity culture are innocence, which pretty much means ignorance about sex, submission, which for women is specifically submission to men, virginity as the ultimate standard of worth, and modesty, which for women means that we are not allowed to wear anything that reveals our adult curves. Purity culture makes the desirable standard a child. It makes childlikeness desirable in regards to sexuality. It makes virginity and innocence and submission what the male brain should want most in a partner. And your brain doesn't rewire just because you get married. This doesn't mean that every man raised in purity culture is a pedophile. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that purity culture wires the brain of men to desire childlikeness, which encourages pedophilia. After all, desire and objectification happen in our brain. Now, if you are a pedophile who want to act on those desires, purity culture does a lot of the grooming for you. Purity culture discourages comprehensive sex education, leaving children without the ability to know what's appropriate and what's not. It shames people for any sexual thoughts or behaviors, which makes children who may be vulnerable not want to tell their caregivers or anybody else if something happens to them. Its emphasis on virginity makes abused children prefer to lie, not to be seen as less than. It teaches children not to trust their own heart and to trust authority figures, which makes any pedophile's voice more important than their own intuition. It puts responsibility on women to protect men, causing abused girls to blame themselves for the abuse that they are subjected to. If as a society we really are concerned about vulnerable children, then we need to toss purity culture, advocate for comprehensive sex education, and stop pushing narratives of what desirable women and men should look or behave like, normalize sexuality as a part of the human experience, teach consent to children, talk about sex as a coping mechanism versus a healthy experience, give children agency over their own bodies, which means allowing them to say no to things that you may want them to be okay with, and dismantle absurd notions that virginity and worth are connected. Women inside of fundamentalist Christianity are also expected to depend financially on men, to be home while men are out in the world, to not get formal education. They are expected to be grown children, dependents. Assertive, educated women are problematic and not attractive. If we really want to protect children and women, then purity culture has to go.